that, guys. Of course, thanks for being here and for joining in on another Hockey PA Zoom chat as we get ready to wind down the month of June. More so tonight, probably could go a bunch of different routes tonight, but I know that Jason, I believe you and I, with our AHL clubs, were just honored with awards in regards to either social media, tickets, or whatnot, but more so in San Diego's case, the 80s night attire that we had worn in January was actually named most unique promotional night of the season. And I, for one, thought it was a great night across the board, which kind of got me thinking, how many of us out there actually take part in like some of these, oddball, like either it's, television nights, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, an era in history, things like that. Jason, let me start with you on this one, because I think there's probably a lot that probably you and Cleveland has done. 80s Night was probably one of my favorites. David, I agree. Star Wars Night's like my other favorite for sure. But Jason, with in Cleveland, what was probably what is one of your favorite theme nights or promotion nights that you look forward to the most on the schedule?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple, and then I'll give you a more general comment about the awards and things like that. Just some things that I noticed in the awards. Congratulations to you, Callan, and to everybody out in San Diego. For us, we have a couple that we do every year that are just fun. I mean, obviously, if you do a Pucks and Paws night, if you can't get excited for dogs in the rink, get out. I mean, those are always a good time. So that one's a lot of fun. We also do a purple game. I know a lot of people do Pink the Rink for breast cancer. A couple of years ago, we decided to broaden it out and go with a purple game for all cancer. We partner with the American Cancer Society. I don't think we got. I'll have to go back and look at the schedule. But we were set to do 2 cancer games this year, one for children's cancer and one was going to be the purple game. But we had sunflower jerseys that night, so that was a fun one.
Oh, wow.
If I can find that, I pulled a couple of pictures from different points in the season. I don't think I pulled that one, but as soon as I find that, there it is. All right, let me share my screen real quick here, and I'll show you guys. It's it's called Prayers for Maria in Cleveland, and it's a cancer charity, but they have these big sunflower fields that they planted on vacant lots in Northeast Ohio, and they're huge. I mean, everybody goes every year. You see people getting their pictures taken, engagement photos, and things like that. And so in honor of that, we did those jerseys for that game. And when we first heard it was going to be sunflower jerseys, there were people going, what? And then they saw them and went, oh, yeah, that's pretty good. A couple other ones we did. I mean, Chuck-a-Bear, everybody does that. I don't know how many people have a teddy bear that's bigger than your penalty box attendant, but we do. Harry, we love him dearly. One of my absolute favorite people in the hockey world, Harry, the home penalty box guy at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. When we have a game on St. Patty's Day, he dresses up as a leprechaun, which is always a good time. Let's see. What else did I pull here? It's all hidden behind. Oh, this was Halloween a couple of years ago.
Oh, I love it.
Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't a Legends of the Hidden Temple night. It was just a Halloween game. And so this is our game ops team, part of it. And they decided they all went out, bought Legends of the Hidden Temple. That's our boss, Matt Bettinger, our senior director of game presentation, as Kirk Fogg there.
That is amazing.
And they really went all out for that one. But that kind of gets me into the comment that I was thinking about when I saw the awards. And David, I don't know if you read through the whole list. I looked through the awards and I saw some of the themes that won and themes that did well, 80s night and Stranger Things night. And they were themes that a lot of teams do, I feel like, but that I got to believe, and Cal, and I can't wait to hear more about your 80s night, but that were done really, really, really well. And I think that's the key. I mean, anybody can do an 80s night. Anybody can do Stranger Things. Anybody can do a cancer night. But I think it's what you put behind it that really gets it going. Another one that we did our throwback night this year, and it was the Cleveland Lumberjacks, which were the team in Cleveland through the 90s. They really went all out for it. You know, we ID'd the team. We kind of faked everybody out on social media and said that we were changing the name. It was the first weekend of January. So New Year's Day, they went out and said, new year, new name. And so the local media went, oh, my God, they're changing the name. No, we're not. Just for a weekend. and they retroed up, like, all the graphics on the scoreboard were different. The scoring bug on the bottom of the Humongatron, they made it look like early 90s high school gym kind of deal. And really, so it was just a good, fun weekend. So sometimes it's not as much what you do, but it's how you do it that really makes it cool.
You know, when I heard about the 80s night thing for San Diego, I was kind of in a way like, okay, are we going to be honoring the I love this here. This is great right here. Jason's got the bear as his sidekick in the penalty box.
Yeah. Yeah, we there's so many bears, and sometimes people don't want to sit next to one. And people bring in, I mean, the humongous bears. So they just throw them at us. We put them in the penalty boxes. We put them in our box, wherever you can stick a bear pretty much. That
is amazing. But yeah, so when I heard about the 80s night thing, I thought, okay, is this like an 80s throwback night? And then it's like, but there was no hockey in San Diego during the 80s. So I thought, okay, this is interesting. And we had the fanny pack giveaway attached to the game against Ontario that night. And then when I saw these jerseys that were going to be worn right here, I thought, okay, this is epic. So it's got the black, it's got the light blue, the pink numbers, white trim, and instead of another Gulls patch of a Ducks patch, we had the Rubik's Cube.
That's a nice touch.
As the other patch that night, and people came dressed to the T. We had a pregame tailgate party before this was all going. So 80s music all game. We had some 80s kind of in-game things, whether it was music. We had one of our game ops assistants actually sitting in the terrace level by himself doing a Rubik's Cube all game, and he was getting frustrated and stuff like that. He wasn't going to figure it out anyway, but he actually found a kid like 2 rows up from him who actually came down at the final timeout, and he solved the Rubik's Cube for our game ops assistant. And honestly, I thought it was great. I actually went out and bought a pair of the old like 80s style shutter shades that were like a big thing, like they have the bars going. So I got these actually the week of the game at the swap meet at the arena and wore them around before the game was over, beforehand and afterwards, and everyone thought, that's genius right there. And then, of course, the merchandise was selling great. I happened to get a shirt, and then we also did hats too. So the hats kind of had like the whole 80s pattern going on too across the bill. And honestly, I think that night's probably going to be coming back next season. It was very, very popular. And I would further go one step further, Jason, as you had said about Cancer Research Night. We did I think 2 years ago, actually, when we played Cleveland, one of the last games of the series we had was actually a autism awareness night. So we had special jerseys done that had the puzzle pieces and the kid drawings of the family behind, and all that money went towards the autism awareness campaigns. We did our Hockey Fights Cancer Night this year with the purple. We did our pink game, Pink in the Rink, which was kind of cool. It was a pretty cool ordeal that they got to work out with Fox Sports in Southern California. They did a thing called Hockey Day SoCal. It was like 12 hours of consistent hockey coverage on Fox Sports West, Fox Sports Prime Ticket, Fox Sports San Diego. And so we played at 4 o'clock in the afternoon against the Reign, and we actually segued into the Ducks-Kings game at Staples Center at 7:30 that night. So it was totally a great day. The pink jerseys, of course, were awesome, and things like that. And, of course, I get fired up like David does for Star Wars night because, that's one of my favorite, sci-fi / like away from sports things I enjoy the most. And David, I see you got that autism awareness jersey on. It looks like, man, that looks pretty sick. With you, David, what would you say is probably, other than maybe that, what perhaps is your favorite theme night that the Roadrunners have done in their time down in Tucson?
We had fun with Harry Potter night, although this last season that just sort of concluded, they didn't go all out on a lot of things for some reason. In the first 3 years, I mean, the autism awareness night was really cool. The Star Wars nights are always a favorite. Not a lot of other ones really stick out. They've done a couple because we've got Davis Mountain Air Force Base right near the arena. And so they've done a couple military nights that were pretty memorable. Mark designed one jersey a couple years ago that looked like a fighter jet. So if you saw from just the right angle from a distance, the entire jersey looked like a team was wearing a fighter jet on them. That was pretty cool. I think it works best when everybody kind of does get into it. And I'm a little jealous seeing how much you guys got into those things because, yeah, our crews don't get into things quite that way. I think, again, the Star Wars nights are about as much buy-in as we have. I personally, when we have really cool nights, I will go and say, okay, what does that jersey cost? I want one, and make sure that you put the PA guy on the back. And this past season, I think we only actually had 2 theme nights with jerseys because we used up I guess the AHL will allow you to do 3 nights. The Roadrunners used up their 3rd night to have the Kachina jersey, which they wore every Saturday night, which I have one of those too. Those are really cool. So we had a military night, and we never got to the 2nd night. The 2nd night would have been the last weekend in March. We were going to have Spirit of Tucson night.
Oh.
With some kind of like cool Pueblo-looking Tucson jersey, which I never actually saw, and I don't think we ever actually will now.
Oh.
If anybody has one, it might be a collector's edition.
Probably in a frame somewhere.
That's right. And next year we'll do COVID jerseys. They'll have like the COVID molecule. I'm just kidding.
All the
COVID awareness night.
The opponents should wear those.
Yeah, COVID awareness night. You're all allowed to wear them somewhere other than in this arena.
Yeah,
I think in Cleveland we're going to have the governor's sign language translator, who's become a viral sensation on our jerseys.
A viral sensation, huh?
Oh my goodness! Oh man! I will say because the Gulls had one lined up after they were on that. We were on like a 7-game road trip when right as the pandemic was kind of becoming fresh, and we were in Tucson to end the season pretty much after that Tuesday that we had played in Tucson. We were going to come home and play Friday against San Jose. The following week, we were advertising our Marvel superhero night. We were going to be wearing Spider-Man themed jerseys for the game, and I never saw them come to fruition, sadly, because of the pandemic. But I think though,
Marvel relent on that, because I know that we did superhero jersey nights the previous 2 years, and they had to come up with something unique because they could not get licensing from either DC or Marvel to actually look like a real superhero.
Yikes!
Wow.
So they actually look pretty cool. They just basically they took the Roadrunner logo and they gave him a cape and made him look like Super Dusty, and that was pretty cool. That was actually a pretty fun night.
Speaking of Spider-Man jerseys,
the jersey that I liked that I couldn't get my hands on was actually from the Thunderbirds. They actually did a Springfield Isotopes night.
That would be cool.
See those. Those were great. That was great.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think they might have looked something like this.
Those are cool.
This is the Allen Americans in the ECHL wore this, and from what I hear, the Idaho Steelheads wore similar ones, if I saw correctly.
Actually, one of my favorites that I have that I bought, it actually is not like a specialty like themed jersey, but a throwback jersey that the Gulls did when we honored Willie O'Ree last season. We actually wore the 66 era Gulls throwbacks.
Well, that's cool.
When Willie was with the Gulls back in the day. So this is a full-blown San Diego jersey. So it's got no Ducks branding. It's literally a regular Gulls jersey. Got my name and number on the back. So this was like my lucky jersey to wear when I would work watch parties, because we wear white on the road, obviously, when we play in the AHL. But I will say there's one other weekend or theme night that I thoroughly enjoy, and it fits for San Diego. But that of course is when we do our military weekend in San Diego, because we do so much community outreach with either the bases or with the military in San Diego and things like that. So it's always special. We've done different jerseys every year. So I think the first year I was with the team, we did like navy blue camo. Then we've done the brown camo, the green camo. This year we did like a snow white camouflage. Last year we kind of did like a beige jersey that kind of looked like it was like the Declaration of Independence, but nonetheless, the merch always sells great. There's always a lot of military dignities on hand for the whole weekend. We usually have, high-ranking officials that will sing the national anthem. They'll drop the puck. We honor them, every third period. Our first time out, we honor some military person here from San Diego, and a lot of them that I've read, a lot of these people now have plaques up at Mount Soledad here in San Diego, which is one of our many military honor points. But they have, World War I, World War II, so many accolades across the board. And Brendan, I'm sure it's different probably for you as opposed to AAA hockey, whatever. But do the Brahms? Do you probably ever try your best to kind of incorporate some kind of it, or does the team?
I will say my team that I work with doesn't really do a whole lot. The most we've done is occasionally we will do a. There have been a couple times we've had military jerseys. Now I'll give you a couple examples of what our main team, the Lone Star Brahmas, does. That have been some pretty unusual themes. We had this thing we called the Big Jump, where we had this guy out here in this area known as the Texas Law Hawk. He jumped a motorcycle over a ramp over a bunch of cases of beer. I think he set the Guinness record for that. So I think he's in Guinness records now. But
as in Guinness beer?
I don't believe so. I don't remember what the brand was. I actually was not at that game. I was actually on the road with my team in College Station. But let's see if this shows up. But they had
looks like Evel
Knievel.
Right
yeah,
there.
Evel Knievel. Hang on, I'm going to turn my background off.
Yeah, sadly we have to do that when we show off these all the apparel.
Yeah, sorry. Give me 1 second. I do actually have one other jersey I want to show too.
No worries.
Once I get this done here, hopefully my place isn't too messy.
That's okay.
But so here we go. This is the.
I dig it. That's pretty cool. Evel Knievel inspired uni.
Exactly, and
nice.
not only that. In addition to that, they had what normally our guys wear black pants and they had on like pant covers over it and everything. It looked like they were wearing full Evel Knievel jumpsuits.
Oh, splendid. Genius.
That's from the Snake River Canyon jump too. Like that was one of the how I best put this, one of the pinnacle moments of Knievel's career. So that's.
He did actually do a jump not too far at one point, I believe, either somewhere in Fort Worth or just not far from where the Brahmas play. But if I remember my history correctly, but here's the other good one is that the team did this past season. They had a Beatles night, and so they had Sgt. Pepper inspired jerseys. And let's see if I can get this logo to show on the camera here.
I think you'll be all right. Without the background, I think you'll be fine.
Oh,
Lone Star Hockey Club Brahmas. That's awesome.
that is beautiful.
And unfortunately, I missed that game because once again I was on the road with my team. But I was able to get an extra jersey in the shop that was in the shop. So they played Beatles like crazy. So that was definitely one. Those are some of the ones that stick out the most. We've had 80s nights, we've had 90s ones. So that kind of thing. Those are the big ones. I mean, and like I said, my team has never really done theme nights. We don't draw a lot of fans because we have our main club higher up.
Right.
Other teams in my league, we have, which is in the NA3HL, that's all they have. So they might do stuff, but we don't really do stuff as much with my team. So
I know one of the jerseys that I got to help design, it was actually for a couple of years from now, is actually our 50th anniversary jersey. So I found designs of the old jersey, which is old cursive script. No, it was black for the background, black and white, but no. So I probably got to do white on black. I mean, black and white for the home jersey, and probably flip it around for the away jersey. I probably have something like 50 years, like for a crest.
Anniversary jerseys have got to be cool, though, I'm sure, because, the Gulls probably won't do one until they get to 10 years old, maybe, or things like that across the board. I mean, maybe. I mean, who knows what happens with that. Quinn, how about you? Does either of your teams do anything cool, like, something odd, like, whatever it might be in regards to any kind of themes or promotions at all by chance?
The Rivermen do on a more regular basis with the Trappers. Usually when it comes to like theme nights and stuff like that, we don't do anything super over the top, mainly because just there's no budget for it. But this past year we did a sock toss as opposed to a teddy bear toss. That went over fairly well. It was a game against Grandview. And after our boys scored the first goal about 8 seconds into the game, people started throwing their socks, like literally, wrapped, non-used socks onto the ice, which I got video of. I think I've got it posted on my Twitter. I'll have to track it down for you guys. But yeah, it actually turned out quite well. So here I am, like side-arming packs of socks onto the ice because, of course, my thing has the heater
Right.
up, right? So I'm like, well, if I throw it into the heater, I'm going to catch the building on fire. That's just not good. That's not good, right? So I'm like side-arming, right? And my play-by-play man sitting right next to me, he's got a bunch of them because I gave him like 4 pairs of the 8 I bought at Walmart. And he was like, dude, are you throwing yours on the ice? I'm like, yes. Like, this is the whole point of the night. Like, you know, so that was a good night. It was unfortunately marred by a brawl that broke out between the parents of both sides later on. So, of course, the RCMP got called. But other than that, yeah, it was a good night. And we wound up donating a whole bunch of socks to our homeless population right around Christmas. So, you know, we figured people get teddy bears, but a teddy bear isn't going to keep you warm, right? And a teddy bear isn't going to keep your feet relatively dry. So going with the sock toss was very, very popular, and it worked out quite well.
David, I'm going to eventually put a bet down about who in the division has more jerseys to wear to work, either you or Mike Hart of the Condors, because both you guys probably have jerseys that are for every single theme night that the teams have done.
I've probably done about 2/3 of the jerseys. This year was a little different. They weren't as free flowing with the jerseys, I guess, because they've had too much roster movement. So every time they do a jersey for me, they're afraid that like the day before the next theme night, they're gonna acquire 2 new ECHL players. I'm like, we don't have any jerseys to give these guys. Quick, give them yours. Yeah, I'm like, well, mine says Darth PA guy on it, but you know, if that's what they want to wear, I'd feel honored.
Tyson Mayo called. He wants his number back.
Yeah, no, he doesn't get his number back. Nope. And we all know that he won't keep that when he goes up to the Coyotes anyway, if he ever does go up to the Coyotes.
Oh man, Jamie, how about you? I mean, because obviously, you know, some of us work in the minors, or we work somewhere where our teams kind of get, you know, involved with, you know, some of these loony promotions or loony things. What have you probably seen in your time that you have probably been a part of in regards to maybe a theme night or some weird promotional thing that a team is doing?
Nothing as big as what has been what's been told. Like, you guys have some great ideas, but it's again, like Quinn was saying, junior in this area, there's just no budget. With me being equipment manager for a junior team, it's just basic military night, teddy bear toss. Halifax, the Mooseheads only bring in maybe 8,000, 10,000 people. And then the junior team, where I'm with all the time, it's 200-300 people. So it's a budget thing. So we've done like breast cancer, just simple nights where it doesn't cost us a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But the Mooseheads here is a Quebec Major Junior Hockey League team, and they play in the CHL, Canadian Hockey League, and they've done Pink in the Rink and teddy bear toss, and they'll pick a military night, which kind of just because we get a lot of ships, a lot of military ships like HMCS Fredericton, or because we're on the coast and we're in the harbor. So, but it's kind of neat though. I know a lot of people in Newfoundland with the Growlers, so I've been in close contact with the Growlers team, and I know they've done like the old one night they did the old St. John Maple Leafs jerseys.
Oh, nice.
In the East Coast League. So a lot of cool ideas from the Growlers side of things. Like, if you were to ask what cool jerseys I've seen on the East Coast, the Growlers are now on the East Coast. We used to have AHL, and then but they all folded. So that's just an East Coast team, close to where I'm at. But they're in Newfoundland, so they've had some cool
Nice.
jerseys. So Yeah, but nothing big. Like you guys are in the A and the coast where they have a lot of fan base. So then you have that opportunity to sell the jerseys, right? It just comes down to budget and who's going to buy the merchandise, right? So it's just not big. It's just not big right now in this area, but but the Mooseheads do well, like for maybe 2 or 3 different occasions, but nothing big like in the A or the coast.
I'll say this too, for because I'm seeing a couple people in the chat too that are saying, a budget's an issue. I work for a baseball team where budget is a major issue, and I think one of the ways they get around it is by being kind of opportunistic. I'll give you an example. We had an earthquake, and we don't have earthquakes in Northeast Ohio very often, but there was an earthquake, pretty big one, right down the road from our ballpark. And so I'll say what the team is. It's the Lake County Captains, single A ball club, 20 minutes down the road from a big league club. So it's not the easiest row to hoe, as you can imagine. So they decided they were going to do earthquake night. And really all it was they did like a ticket price deal, and they did milkshakes and a shake quake. We changed the name to Quake County for the night. Didn't change the jerseys. Made T-shirts out of stuff you would get at Walmart. Didn't sell them, and that was actually part of our press release. So, we don't have time to make T-shirts, so we ain't selling T-shirts. But it went over like gangbusters. It got all over the news, and it really didn't cost us much of anything. So that might be something to think about, if you're in one of those situations where you don't have the budget, is how can you just maybe take something that happened and turn it around real quick and do something easy. If I can find pictures, I'll link to them in chat. But
true point for sure. Ian, I know that college is probably a whole different animal than levels that we're at right now, but has your college tried out, other than maybe a homecoming game, but like any kind of sort of game to kind of maybe bring the students out to a game just for the sake of coming to a game?
Well, I mean, for me personally, Hockey East is, in my opinion, and I mean, I know you can call it a homer bias as it is, but Hockey East is the best college hockey conference in the country. I mean, when you have teams like Boston College, Boston University, and other programs like that, teams that have gone on to not only win national titles, recently, but they have the historied programs over the course of the last few decades. It's easy to bring fans in, but I mean, it's tougher to do, some of these theme nights. Obviously with college budgets, money is only, it's very finite when it comes to that. There's not a lot of wiggle room to do different things. They did just update their jerseys a couple of years ago. For the longest time, they were wearing kind of a Michigan shade of yellow for their home jerseys, which is unique because obviously at college you think a team's wearing white at home. Mm-hmm. So they had a very weird yellow jersey with the Montreal Canadiens style piping going across the center of the jersey, and it had the MC strapped along in the middle of the crest. But now they changed it. They do wear white, and it just says Merrimack going across the front. Their road ones are now blue with the Merrimack with the MC in the front, and then they have an alternate third jersey with the Institute's shield on the front of it. But I mean, other than like you said, homecoming. They'll bring in bigger crowds, and the homecoming game this year was actually the Wisconsin game, which was my first night on the microphone. Which was a sold out crowd. You don't get to see teams like that come in very often. Last year, they went and they did they co-hosted a tournament around Thanksgiving time with UMass Lowell, the banner I have up behind me here. They hosted what they called the Turkey Leg Classic. It was It was the Tuesday and Wednesday night prior to Thanksgiving. And so what they did was they brought in Penn State came in and RPI came in. And so both teams hosted that, and the winner got a trophy and this and that. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Nice.
RPI probably is one of the better logos as far as Peter Puck is concerned, the hockey puck logo that they have. it looks just like him, but it was great. But no, I mean, we do the military appreciation night. We'll bring in, the local, one of the ROTCs from the local high school down the road, and we'll honor servicemen and women in between whistles and media timeouts and stuff like that. We'll have the magnet calendar giveaway that you can stick on the fridge, or they'll give out T-shirts and this and that to the first couple hundred fans in attendance. Every now and then we might get a bobblehead or something like that. But at the college level, it's a lot more difficult to come up with those kinds of plans. But I think the biggest key to bringing in students is just to continue to build on the program that they have. They brought in a new coach 2 years ago. This will be his third season behind the bench, and he's done very well recruiting wise to bring in new guys. They actually just revealed their recruiting class for the upcoming year over the course of this last week here on the social media accounts. So looking forward to getting back to campus and meeting some of those new guys. But no, the college game is different. I mean, and no matter what level you go to, you're going to see that. But they do a good job with what they can manage.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. When I work at one of the schools I work at, they've tried their best to see, get kids into the games, and, whether it's, we did replica jerseys during a basketball game last season. We do a lot of, like food and, food specials with restaurants, things like that. I will say, as we move into maybe best giveaway item I've gotten, we did a pro wrestling night this season. We did Lucha Libre night back in December in San Diego. And of course, today is also June 19th, but in our case in San Diego, it's a area code of our city. It's actually 619, so we call it 619 Day in San Diego, albeit Rey Mysterio being from here, of course, legendary WWE wrestler. But we did a player bobblehead themed to a actual pro wrestler this season. We gave out back in December, and we even had some of the guys that wrestle in the very bottom of pro wrestling. They came out, even in the rain. We put a tarp over our tailgate parking lot area, built a ring, and we had ourselves an actual live wrestling show before the game started that night. And all the fans that came out got that Sam Carrick Lucha Libre themed bobblehead. We won the game in overtime, which made it that much cooler. Jason, what probably is your favorite giveaway item that you've seen the Monsters give out during the course of your time with the franchise?
Ooh, we've had some good ones over the 3 years I've been with the Monsters. One that immediately comes to mind, I don't think it was a giveaway. I think it was something we sold in the team shop. But we do a Cleveland Rocks night every year, as you can probably imagine. It only makes sense. And usually the giveaway that night is like a band tour T-shirt, sort of, where we do it up. And it looks like a rock tour T-shirt. But in the gift shop that night, we sold, there's a legendary radio station in Cleveland, WMMS, the Buzzard is what they were called. And so we did Buzzard bobbleheads that night. We are affiliated with the current owners of that station, iHeart. We're on their HD2 for our games. And so we were able to do that. And so it was one of those where it was just a super local thing. And I'm telling you, the line was huge at the team shop for those. I saw people walking out like bear hugging 4 or 5 of these things on the way out of the team shop. And immediately, before even we got to the start of the game, I was seeing them all over eBay. So that was those are usually my favorites on Cleveland Rocks night. Those were the first ones that came to mind. And I think I showed our championship belt fanny packs last week. I think that one is pretty high up there.
That was pretty good. David, I don't know how often you get your hands on giveaway items that the Roadrunners might give out, if there has been any. Anything notable that stands out in your mind in your time with the Roadrunners? What would that most notable giveaway item be in your mind?
The Craig Cunningham bobblehead was pretty worthwhile.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorites, and I say that fully tongue planted in cheek, was the Shane Doan night.
Oh.
Now, mind you, Shane Doan never played for the Roadrunners. I'm not even sure he knew where the arena was. Incredibly nice man. I've met him. He does wonderful things for the youth hockey community because his kid plays, but just an incredibly nice guy. but they did a Shane Doan night where literally they just took the overflow Shane Doan bobbleheads that the Coyotes had used a week earlier and shipped them down to Tucson as giveaways. I think I actually have one somewhere. Yeah, and of course everybody's favorite giveaway night, cowbell giveaway.
Oh no!
Oh.
And it's amazing what you don't really need to do to make a cowbell. And that it seems like it's like VD. It just keeps coming back, or herpes or something. They just doesn't
I've
go
got a
away.
fever.
And the fever prescription is more cowbell.
That goes right up there with the use it 3 times a night cowbell cam.
Gee, you really got to explore the space, baby. Like, get in there. Use the cowbell. I've got a fever, and the prescription is more cowbell.
See, now if they use that entire thing and they used more quotes from the routine, that'd be cool. But really, it's just I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's what it really comes down to is that one phrase. Meanwhile, Christopher Walken sitting there going, "Look, I'm going to have y'all in solid gold diapers." And Jimmy Fallon's like, "What the hell does that mean?" He's like, just play.
Never questioned Bruce Dickinson.
Never question
My
Bruce
wife has
Dickinson.
already threatened me bodily harm if I happen to introduce a cowbell into the household.
I believe we did a cowbell giveaway the first night, opening night last season against the Roadrunners, fittingly enough. So maybe what was ever left from San Diego got sent out over Interstate 8 East out to our friends in Tucson. So
they just painted over them and stamped a Coyote logo on it or a Roadrunner logo on it.
They were orange. What are you doing with?
I do have to at least say one thing. The Springfield Thunderbirds, they had a very I don't know if you call it interesting or controversial giveaway night back in 2016. They had a Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump bobblehead night.
As half of those rained themselves onto the ice during the game.
Where essentially what they did, they took an informal poll. If you like Donald Trump, you grab the Donald Trump bobblehead. If you liked Hillary Clinton, you grab the Hillary Clinton bobblehead.
So we're trying to make everyone reveal their political views at the game?
Just
It's hockey.
So
Do we
a
really have
dollar
to
beer
ask?
night, was it? Because if
What
that
was
was a
that?
cheap beer night, man, that could have got ugly.
Hockey's supposed to be an escape from that kind of stuff, in my opinion.
Sports in general.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's not a good idea.
Don't ask the NFL.
Holy smokes.
Worst giveaway I ever had. First thing that our game manager says to me is, "I'm going to need you to download the chicken dance for next week." I'm like,
Oh, no.
Okay. We gave away frozen chickens at the end of the first intermission. We had people skate onto the ice. For real. People skated onto the ice and would throw out rubber chickens to the crowd. If you caught a rubber chicken, you would be able to turn in that rubber chicken to our wonderful game manager, who would give you a frozen chicken.
What?
Keep in mind, this is the end of the first period, so we don't know how many people got sick. And as far as we know, that's the kind of thing we didn't want to know, right? We're just like, here's your frozen chicken, enjoy.
It'd be more fun just to throw the frozen chickens up into the crowd.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
great.
goodness gracious.
Get like rocket propelled frozen chickens. Hey, I'll
Lawsuit
get that
waiting
guy
to
in the
happen.
last row.
Load them in the t-shirt can.
Exactly.
Okay, I got one more actually. Now that I think about this, I got one more from being a fan, going to a game as a fan. I was in Fresno, California, 2005 for a international baseball tournament. My dad was coaching in. It's essentially the World Baseball Classic for high school kids, pretty much, that are like 13, 14 years old. So we got to go watch the Grizzlies play a game versus the Albuquerque Isotopes at their ballpark in downtown Fresno. The giveaway after the game was a free bread of Sara Lee bread that was left over from a previous homestand that the team didn't use to make their PB&Js when the game was over. But we took the bread, took it back to our hotel and froze it. We had PB&Js the rest of the time we were in Fresno. So we made good use of it.
Oh.
When life hands you lemons or a loaf of bread, make lemonade.
There was one on promotion that was actually a couple of years ago. The Hartford Wolfpack did, where it was a good idea in practice, but you actually had someone at the fan relations table the whole night, even after the game. was that with the T-shirt cannon they launched tennis balls.
Oh my
And
goodness!
And they had different players' jerseys numbers written on them.
Oh.
So it was all jersey numbers for the Hartford Wolfpack. If you got the tennis ball that had the jersey who got the first goal, you won the grand prize. If let's just say they scored second or third or fourth goal, you got a runner-up prize, and it was all lottery tickets. I actually happened to get one of the runner-up prizes mainly because I actually worked with the T-shirt guy. He didn't actually aim it near me, but no, I told him afterwards, hey, thank you for shooting a tennis ball up my way.
I was going to say, tennis balls into the crowd from a T-shirt cannon, that sounds pretty damn dangerous in my opinion.
They made sure they launched it in areas where there weren't that many fans.
Okay, good.
Sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield.
When you play at the Mass Mutual Center, too, it only makes sense, I guess. Right, Eric?
Well, Mass Mutual is life insurance, but here's the thing. Hartford Wolfpack, across the arena, is one of the regional offices for United Health Group.
Oh, yes. And they play at the XL Center down there. Further, I guess, even further with wacky giveaways, I was visiting my uncle in Hartford last year. We U-hauled back to San Diego. Him and his wife, my aunt, were moving back out west. And we went to a Hartford Yard Goats game at Dunkin' Donuts Park in downtown Hartford. And every Sunday they do Milk Day. And they literally give out free samples of chocolate milk the entire game. I was like, what? This is AA baseball, and they're doing free chocolate milk giveaway the entire course of the game. It was awesome.
Well, people were wondering why they named it the Yard Goats. I'm like, there's no railway really in Hartford. The idea was they named Hooker Brewery was gonna sponsor the park.
Yeah.
Eventually, so it's gonna be the Hartford Hookers. But I'm like, no, that's not gonna be a good.
That would lead to some great giveaways.
Yeah, the world's biggest
Pro
soil
hockey
food.
night.
The softball team I play on is actually named after that Hartford Yard Goats team. We were scrolling through online, wondering what are we going to call our team?
The Yard Goats.
Yeah, so we're where we live on the harbor. We live off the ocean. We call ourselves the Harbor Yard Goats. Yeah,
Genius.
Well, the interesting thing with Dunkin' Donuts Stadium are the ground rules for it. Now, they have an upper deck, but they also have like an LED board going along the overhang. If the ball hits the overhang, it's like it's hitting the wall. It's not a home run.
Yeah, that ballpark is very loony in Hartford. They even have protective netting so the home run balls don't clear the fence in right field, where that upper deck that Eric was referring to.
Well, here's the thing. Right field, there's actually a road that goes right next to the ballpark.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, and it's a well-traveled road. So
It sounds
if
like
the ball goes over, there's a chance of it, hitting a car. It's not like Fenway Park, where the only time the ball leaves the park is over the Green Monster, which is usually on Lansdowne Street.
Yeah.
It sounds like the ballpark from Brewster's Millions with the railroad tracks that ran through the outfield.
Quinn, have you ever been to a Vancouver Canadians game?
I have, actually, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I have a interesting promotional story for you. So A&W, which is one of the bigger, we all have those down there. Hamburgers, mostly known for.
They're known for root beer. We don't have any in San Diego, but I love the root beer.
Root beer
Exactly,
and really bad food. Yeah.
Yeah, mostly root beer. So they had a promotion where they're like, we're going to be at the game and we're going to serve up root beer floats the entire game. You can get them for like $2, no big deal. So about through the third inning, they run out of vanilla ice cream. Now, vanilla ice cream, of course, as you all know, is required to make a root beer float. So literally, they have these wonderful volunteers. I think they were volunteers. Couldn't have been maybe grade 9, grade 10. sitting there with nothing to do, basically. And I'm like, hey, those bottles of root beer that you got back there, and these are 2-liter bottles, right? Which is at least $3-4, right? This is a while back. I said, so what are you doing with those bottles? She's like, oh, well, nothing. I said, good. Let me get one of those 2-liter bottles for $2. She's like, yeah, sure, we'll sell them to you. So I go back up to my seat with this 2-liter bottle, holding it in my hand, and I'm downing this. My buddy's looking over at me going, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, are you asking for diabetes? Like, what the hell, dude? I'm like, no, man, it's a warm day outside, you know, enjoy the rest of the game and drink an A&W. Well, a bunch of people saw this, and they're like, where did you get that and how much did it cost? I'm like, oh, just down the stairs there, you know. They sold the rest of their 2 liters for $2 a piece. So I'm like, hey, the least I can do is help you out, right? So, you know.
Oh, that is phenomenal.
Coming up next week, it's Diabetes Tribute Night featuring Wilford Brimley.
You have diabetes. You check your blood sugar and you check it often.
You check it often. It's the right thing to do.
Every day I show up angry and punching my wife. And my wife died 6 years ago. And then I hit the cat. We don't even have a cat. Where am I?
Who the hell did I hit?
I have one question, if I may.
Go for it.
So where all of you guys have watched a lot of hockey games. Besides the old tradition, the octopus going on the ice during a Detroit game, that's probably the most weirdest thing that was thrown on the ice. And then you have teddy bears, and like during a teddy bear toss after a goal. Two things last year. So our team, the Mooseheads, you're obviously supposed to throw the teddy bears on the ice when your team scores. But our team didn't score. We actually lost to a team, I think it was 2-0. So nobody knew. It was like, I think 9 minutes left in the third period. And nobody knew. We were like looking at each other. When do we start throwing these bears on the ice? And so there was like one bear. I think it was like 8 minutes left. There was a bear thrown on the ice. Then the floodgates just started going but it was supposed to be the last 5 minutes of the game if your team didn't score. But I think it was like 9. I think there was a fight or something. So fans just started throwing.
Oh no!
Stuff they started throwing it at the player. So that was it's. So that's one thing where, like, have you guys seen something prematurely being thrown on the ice? And my last question is, have you ever witnessed something like thrown on the ice like that was either premature? Because like I'm not a PA announcer, but I've watched NHL games live, and I think the most crazy thing I've seen thrown on the ice was when Andrew Hammond played for Ottawa, and they called him the Hamburglar.
Yeah. Yes.
And there was after the win in Ottawa, I was watching the couple of wins in that week. They were throwing hamburgers on the ice.
Oh,
so I thought that was pretty crazy. But any of you can answer, like, what have you seen besides like the regular teddy bear or squid or whatever the Detroit throws on the ice? But what's something you guys have seen thrown on the ice?
I've had Chuck a puck turn into Chuck a bobblehead once or twice.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah, a couple times people ripped the heads off the bobblehead, started throwing those on the ice after the game.
Jeez.
Was alcohol involved?
Might have been a 1, 2, 3 night with $3 beers. Might have been. I can't remember for sure, but yeah. So that happened a couple times. Chuck-a-Bear actually almost went sideways on me my first year. Yeah. Not with people throwing prematurely, but somebody threw one with like an electric bottom in it. You know, it had like a talked or moved or something. I don't know what it was.
Yikes.
But I'm watching this spectacle. It's my first one as PA announcer, and I'm right down front, so I'm whipping bears over the glass and everything. All of a sudden, I hear bam right in front of me. This thing slams the table about 2 feet away from hitting my head, and I'm like, oh well, welcome to PA announcing on Chuck-a-Bear night, I guess. But those are fun. That would have been worth it if it hit me in the head.
I've got 2, and I've been to 1. And so with Vancouver, we had 2. We had Callan the Brawbarian, which we refer to as this to this day. Jeff Callan, nicest guy in the world, had 3 goals in 2 games. And somebody decided they were going to take off their bra and put it onto the ice.
Oh,
so it's,
my goodness.
Yes, you can find it on YouTube. If you type in Callan the Brawbarian, you can find it on YouTube. Also,
This wasn't Breast Cancer Awareness Night?
It was not Breast Cancer Awareness Night. It became Breast Awareness Night, but not Breast Cancer.
Oh, my goodness.
Jerry.
Oh, sorry. And actually, I've got 2 more. Then in Vancouver, of course, we had frozen fish put on the ice, frozen salmon specifically. I think that was back 2002 when we were playing Detroit. We took the first 2 games of the series, and then Detroit just waxed us for the next 4 in the first round. So yeah, somebody tossed a frozen salmon onto the ice or something like that. And then we had, of course, during the 2011 playoff run, Ben Eager of the San Jose Sharks was in the penalty box. Some wonderful young woman came down and flashed her boobs at the penalty box at Ben Eager. Ben Eager's looking straight ahead. He can't, he doesn't know what's going on, but everybody else does. She was ejected. And then the one I was part of was the Abbotsford Heat. I was there as a fan, and Old Dutch, which is a chip manufacturer, kind of like a Lay's, but better, and decided that they were going to preview their latest flavor, Asian sweet and sour. Did not go well. I took a Asian sweet and sour individual pack to the back of the head. Not cool. And I think I wound up with about 6 or 7 sitting right around my general direction. It was that bad. I had one, and I was like, no, this is not going to fly.
Holy cow.
Well,
I remember one. There was one personality going on in the AHL. This was in the 90s, I think. Claude the Happy Trumpeter. And I don't know how many of you remember him, but no, he was a guy that he'd go around different AHL arenas and he would play his trumpet. And a couple times he would hang upside down off the glass. No, playing a shot. I'm thinking, please, for the love, everything that's all good and decent, do not have somebody check the boards in that area. Because that's not going to end well. But we actually have one of our radio stations for about a couple seasons. They have a ticket giveaway, and one of them, because their show, one of the little spots in the show is on Bax's View from the Couch. So what they actually had at the arena, they actually had a couch at the arena. It was ice level seats. So usually it would be somebody called in, ex-caller. They'd get tickets, and they'd get called on up to get the best seats in the house, the view from the couch. I'm like, really? Come on.
I wasn't a part of this one, but when the Gulls were in the West Coast Hockey League and the ECHL, they had a deal with a spa company. They used to bring in a actual legitimate hot tub into the terrace level of the arena, and it was in a section that typically wasn't sold during games, but they would, advertise it enter to win, and you could literally watch the Gulls game from the hot tub at the arena while they're playing a game. And I'm just like, okay, that was one thing. In regards to stuff being thrown, oh geez. So we prematurely had the first ever teddy bear toss go wrong because we thought we scored right as the buzzer of the first period sounded, but no one really knew. So they were just tucking the bears, and I'm out there trying to announce that the play's under review and, please do not throw the bears, but yet the floodgates are opening. Similar situation, Jamie. We were getting shut out on our sock toss night, I think, or teddy bear toss, one of the two. But we got it right, though, where it was at the last timeout of the third period where everyone threw the bears and stuff like that. We finally scored, with a minute left in the game. And then I've had chuck-a-pucks thrown at me, coming back into the penalty box after I take my intermission stroll. And I've also had players throw water bottles over my head too in the penalty box. So it's been very interesting to say the least, for sure, with that. David, how about you?
Well, I got hit with a puck last season, but that was actually coming from the ice. That's a little different. No, I mean, usually, I think we had a couple cowbells thrown on the ice just because people got sloppy drunk when they were ringing their cowbells,
Oh, geez.
and over it went. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten in the habit. I mean, we for chuck a puck, you use those foam pucks. They don't really hurt. They're just kind of annoying. So usually, I will pick up and literally put my back against the glass so that anything that's going to land is going to overshoot me anyway. It's
Good
always fun
idea.
to see how close to to the awards I can actually get the pucks after I pick them up and throw them over again myself.
Does anybody remember the Maple Leafs with the frozen waffles? About what, it'd probably be about maybe 8 or 9 years ago when the Leafs were terrible, and somebody decided they were going to bring frozen waffles and like bomb them over the glass. Like, for real, like
They've always been terrible.
Better the
I agree.
waffles, better the waffles than say the bottles of maple syrup.
True. Yeah, it was so bad that Eric Bank Arena actually banned Eggo waffles from the arena. They're like, no, we're not having this again. Like, no.
Or what about when Florida threw the rats on the ice in the '93 Stanley
I
Cup
was going to
final?
mention that, yeah.
What about the
Patrick
rat?
Well, that
Wise
was
is taking
Mellenby,
cover,
right?
yeah.
Mellenby slapped the puck, hit the rat. The rat died. So it's like become their like memorial to this rat that Mellenby like crushed, basically. It's like a Randy Johnson memorial to the
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Fully vaporized,
Yes.
That would be hilarious in Seattle if they just threw seagulls, these vaporized seagulls.
Stop.
I'm kidding.
You don't do that down here anyway.
And a side note, Andrew Hammond's dad owned a McDonald's in Ontario.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So that's how it all started. So this one game I witnessed, I seen hamburgers being thrown on the ice.
Oh my god.
Which you'll never see again because I don't think Andrew Hammond's going to make the NHL again. But
that keeps reminding me of that Bob's Burgers one where Gene's running in the little race and the guy's like, so tell us, who are you representing, son? And Gene's like, oh, no, and Bob's saying, Bob's Burgers! Bob's Burgers, oh my God!
Get your head. I've seen that. Get your hands on your pants.
Oh my gosh. No, other than bears and chuck-a-pucks and player water bottles, I've not seen anything else like worse thrown on the ice. I mean, maybe some rally towels during the playoffs when fans are just losing their minds and either the team's going to win the series or they're losing and they're just tired of a team, or, rally towels happens quite often in the postseason or even on opening night. Sometimes we do rally towels on opening night. In regards to critters or animals, no, I have not seen that, and I wonder, Quinn, if the whole thing with the salmon that from your neck of the woods, is that a tribute to the Victoria Salmon Kings, who were very, very short-lived in the WCHL and East Coast League for a bit?
It might have been, truth be told. When it comes to Victoria, most people are like big into the Cougars. Like the Victoria Cougars are like, because of course they won the Stanley Cup, so it was like, and their fall was like 30 for 30 worthy. It was that bad. And of course, they're now the Prince George Cougars. But the Victoria Cougars are like hallowed ground in Victoria. Even the Royals are like trying to make inroads and not having as much luck as the Cougars used to have. So, but yeah, most likely was probably a tribute to that. And, hey, it worked out quite well and it fit, right? So, at the same time, it woke up Detroit. So it really didn't work out too well for us. So.
Yeah, I don't think I can think of any other weird projectiles thrown on the ice that I can at least recall. I know maybe a lot happened when I was younger and didn't go to many hockey games, but I don't think I've seen any animals or anything bizarre from San Diego hockey fans tossed on the ice in a while. So, I mean, who knows? Anyone else have any other like notable things thrown at them or near them in some capacity during games?
I did. We just won the Junior C division before COVID, and I did the old Papano when Toronto beat Detroit. I took my Gatorade bottle and I chucked it up in the air and it blew up. Then the Gatorade went on the ice, but it's
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's probably all I can think of for me, at least, is just, the puck, chuck-a-pucks at least. I've had plenty of pucks fly over my head. I've only, believe it or not, in my time working PA at Pechanga Arena, San Diego, I've only been hit once with a game projectile. That was a soccer ball during indoor warm-ups. My first year as the announcer, so I've thankfully have dodged pucks and other things that have come my way. That includes water bottles too. So I mean, who knows what else probably happens. Gentlemen, any final thoughts to pass along or questions before we wrap up for the evening, or are we good?
It's too bad, Quinn. Kelowna was just supposed to host the Mem Cup, and it unfortunately didn't happen. So
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for everybody, truth be told. I mean, how many tournaments were supposed to be held by different people? We're supposed to have the NFL draft in Vegas. That was going to be like spectacular. Truth be told, I think it was going to be a spectacular fail because they were like, oh, well, we'll just have people gird across the water as they getting drafted. I'm like, no kid wants that. Like, come on, man. You know, you have Roger Goodell leaning into the boat, like, yeah, well done. Here's your jersey.
Yeah, I was looking forward to a BC visit with that, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Everything gets pushed to next year. You know, unless.
And Brett Laurie's from your area.
He is, yes. He's one of him, Justin Morneau. We have quite a number of. Langley sort of became a hotbed towards the late '90s for baseball. So, Brett Laurie's one of our bigger ones. Dude was built like a tank, man. One of my favorite Blue Jays. Just the kid could hit, and he turned into who did he turn into? Josh Donaldson, I think it was. I think we traded for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it worked out quite well for everybody because Donaldson is a mad masher, that guy. So, yeah, it worked out.
Were you around when Kamloops won the three Mem Cups in the early 90s?
I remember watching I remember watching one of them on television on TSN because they had cut into the broadcast because they wanted to show Jerome McGinley hoisting the Memorial Cup. And I think that's when the Niedermeyers were playing for Kamloops, if I'm not mistaken. Matter of fact, the guy who does the Langley Rivermen, Superman Brian Sinclair, he was actually the PA announcer of those teams. He still got the rings, and he was like, oh yeah, that was Kamloops back in '92, and I'm like, you're kidding. He's like, no. He's like, I saw Jerome play as a young kid, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Really the BC Hockey League, just in general, has got a lot of tough players. Like a good friend of mine, Terry Ryan, Sheldon Surrey, and those guys. Terry's talked about a lot with leaving Newfoundland to go all the way to BC and play in the BC Hockey League with whoever. You can check it out on Hockey DB, but it's just remarkable. Like I lived up there for a number of years in Vancouver and BC. It's just hockey hotbed for big tough guys, and it's
well, I mean, with Kyle Turris having broken in, right? I mean, Kyle Turris is like the guy, right? Like, I mean, when Gretzky comes to your games and drafts you third overall, and you're still in the league today, say what you want about Turris's career, it hasn't been like super spectacular. He hasn't been the next one or anything. Good. Your league gets noticed, and I mean, you're starting to see a lot of BCHL guys, being drafted in like the 4th, 5th, 6th round, and going on to college and playing very, very well at the university level. Brendan Booty, as a matter of fact, he went to North Dakota, just recently came back to Langley. So yeah, we're starting to see a lot more of that, where like bigger programs like Notre Dame, Boston, they're grabbing people fairly regularly. Matter of fact, one of the volunteers for Langley, the Trappers, her nephew is Cam Atkinson.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly. Right. She was saying they're talking to me, and she says, my brother's an asshole, but he makes good kids. She was like, oh, I get to hang out with my grandniece, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And she goes, oh yeah, my nephew is Cam Atkinson. I'm like, you got to be kidding! Like that's awesome. So hockey is a very, very close community.
It was the Vernon Lakers where Terry played in the BC league. Vernon Lakers.
All right, yeah. Okay. Hey, quick question. Have you guys had any promotions that initially you're like, this has the best of intentions, it'll probably work, and then it just becomes an unmitigated disaster. Like we're talking, you're watching the train go off the rails and you're just like, no, this needs to happen. I'll give you an example. We had one, our game manager, nicest girl in the world, she decides that she's going to have musical chairs with 7 and 8-year-old kids who didn't understand the rules about how musical chairs was going to work on the ice. So meanwhile, we've got our Zamboni driver losing his mind because he's got to clean the ice and get all ready to go for the third. Right. And they're still going on with the promotion. And of course, I'm sitting there like, I can't turn away from this. This is a motorcycle accident. Like, so have you guys run into that situation?
We did one. We bought this giant, like massive size. It was a giant inflatable beach ball. And we brought, because I don't watch a lot of the intermission games, because typically I'm getting out to stretch my legs, use the bathroom, and get ready to come back into the box. I get a chance to, get away for a sec or for a bit. And so we blew up this giant beach ball back in the production area before the game. And I think we brought like 2 teams of 3 people out to play like a giant game of whatever we were calling it. But it was like pretty much you had to get the ball from center ice beyond the other team's goal line and you scored a point or something like that. Right as the game starts, we put the ball out there and everyone charges forward to get it. The ball explodes and pops. And we had to kill the promotion right then and there. But we took the clip of the video and it was like on a loop. Like it went like across the web. And I think we re-showed it because we played the game like about a week or so later. The ball didn't pop this time, but I was like, as a reminder, let's take a look back at the video board and see what happened the last time we tried to play this game. Sure enough, just roll it. And there's the exploding beach ball right then and there. The game was over right then and there. So that's probably the only one I can think of. I believe it happened recently. And I just remember hearing a giant, like, oh, from the crowd, like, uh-oh, what happened here? And sure enough, it was the beach ball exploding.
I've got a couple. We had one. It wasn't a promotion, but we do on ice projection before our games.
Okay.
We use, that's just one of the perks of working in an NBA arena. But the problem is if you work in an NBA arena and you're the hockey team, you got to make sure the NBA team's graphics are out of the system before the hockey game.
No.
So we do our big countdown and we have the whole thing and, house black, lights out and, roll projection and it's the Cavaliers on ice projection.
What?
I was expecting just swearing up and down on the headset. I think everybody's jaw was just on the ground that it happened because they're in there at like noon every day, running through exactly everything in order before every game. And that happened, and we were just like.
So was it a case of the Cavs played like on a Friday and you guys played on a Saturday, or what came out of that?
I don't remember what the situation was. I mean, it was a weekend, so inevitably it was, we're playing and then they're playing or something like that. But it's the same crew that does our games, does Cavs games. It's all in-house. So sorry?
I sure it was on April 1st?
No, it wasn't on April 1st.
Oh, that would have been genius if that was on April 1st.
Oh, yeah. And I've got one from baseball, too. We do I think I shared this in the baseball chat a few weeks ago, but it's called Skipper's Fun Run. Skipper's our mascot, and so, in the 8th inning, the mascot runs across the outfield, and kids can all run with him. Okay. And our interns got bamboozled. God love them. Somebody came up to him and said, hey, I got a service dog. Can I run across field with service dog? And, they didn't want to say no, it's a service dog. They were worried they were going to get busted for ADA if they said no. So they said yes. Well, we get down there, and I'm the host at the ball club. So I'm on the field. Hey, it's Skipper's Fun Run. Here come the kids, and here comes Skipper. And holy crap. They let the dog off the leash. The dog ran into our dugout.
Oh,
and
no.
The kids just scattered. Usually they just run a straight line more or less behind the mascot. I got kids going to the infield. I got kids going to the outfield gate. Again, there was just nothing you could say. I think at the end I was just like, well, that was different now, wasn't it?
Oh,
our manager.
I have one thing to say. Then this was from the Falcon. I think the last year the Springfield Falcons were around before they got sold. and they went down and they became the Thunderbirds. The owner decided to let his daughter run the team. Now, his daughter has no hockey experience whatsoever.
Oh,
no
no.
clue. Caused a whole big rift in the front office. Her idea is, what's one way to get the fans on into it? Cheerleaders.
Not that we're against anything like that,
Exactly.
We got to give the disclaimer.
Right.
We got to, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it can go badly in some cases.
Yeah, it was one of those. It never really flew over, in the Mass Mutual Center, because the way the Mass Mutual Center is set up, it's not really conductive for cheerleaders, especially going along. There's only really one area the fans can walk around on the inside.
Yeah, the Giants do that. They have their cheer squad or whatever, and they come down the stairs and stuff, and they'll do the whole pom poms and stuff, like nothing super choreographed, but just
Correct.
enough to be interested.
Jason, was it the Indians or the White Sox that had the 80s rock night when the fireworks? Did you guys see that?
Are you thinking 10-cent beer night?
Was that the disco?
Disco Demolition.
Yeah, that was us too. Disco Demolition night. They were both us. Yeah, we're proud of that around here. We have T-shirts actually that say 10-cent beer night on them.
Oh,
You can buy them. Oh yeah, if you're ever in Cleveland, you can find a 10-cent beer night shirt. We're kind of proud of it, honestly.
Oh my goodness.
David,
how about you in regards to maybe a in-game promotion, or as Quinn was saying, something that just sounded great but didn't go very well?
Honestly, they're so conservative with their promotions that we really there's the one that almost every AHL team does, which is the daytime game for kids.
We don't do that in San Diego, but go on.
Oh, so the game starts at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Nope.
On a weekday.
Hard pass.
The arena is packed with screaming 10-year-olds.
Oh.
I had such a severe headache for the rest of the day. Loud crowds are one thing. Loud, shrill kids, and I love kids. I'm a former junior high teacher. But loud, shrill kids, that is not a good idea. I'm not sure who dreamed that up. I mean, it's great. It packed the arena, but at packed the arena, we probably sold them for $2 a ticket. That was probably, I don't know how you could actually do that well, because most of the kids don't know hockey, and I guess this was probably an introduction for them. But when they started to scream, it was, as it would be appropriate for a school classroom, fingernails on the chalkboard. It was pretty bad. I think the only other thing we had that was sort of disastrous a couple years ago for Harry Potter night, we had an on-ice Quidditch game.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And the problem was that no one actually explained the rules to anybody.
Oh, geez, Louise.
And so the rules were changing as we went. I don't think the kids who were out there playing knew what they were doing. It was, fortunately, and obviously when you're out on the ice, as you know, 1 minute seems like 3.5 hours. The game only was like 5 minutes long, but I felt like I aged 2 years while I was out there. Because it also happened on a night where our in-game host was out. And so when the in-game host is out, I play double duty.
Right.
And they'll have me go out there to announce the Chuck-a-Puck. And in this particular case, because they had this one on-ice promotion that they couldn't get rid of, okay, David, just go out there and announce the Quidditch game. I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, no, that was also a bad idea. Not necessarily because they did Quidditch, but because no two people knew the same.
No one knew the rules.
Yeah. It was like, it'll be really cool. We'll do Quidditch on the ice. We'll have them dress up like houses from Hogwarts. And then not bother with the rules. Just like, just let them go run around on the ice, which is, again, really safe, to run around on the ice without skates. But what are you going to do?
That's what waivers are for, right?
Gracious. Yeah. Thankfully, as of now, I've not had to work the school day game. That relies solely with my neighboring announcer, Dave Joseph, with the Rain when the Gulls play the Rain every preseason. Typically, the Reign do that for their preseason game, and we get our game in Honda Center in Anaheim, as opposed to a natural preseason. Well, the only time we've had a preseason game here, we played David in Tucson, and we played the Roadrunners here, like last day of September, I think. So, thankfully, knock on wood, haven't had to do one yet, but that'll probably change eventually, and I'll have to be up and ready to roll for a 10 a.m. game with a bunch of screaming children. So, I'll just bring earplugs. How about that?
and I'm sure, you'll just simply skip over all of the tavern and pub and beer ads you would normally read during the game. Hey, Dad, the guy said I should go to XYZ Tavern after the game. We going? It's nickel beer night.
We get to bring our ticket and get 15% off our bill. It works out for
Exactly.
I got one of those things when it comes to like 80s nights and stuff like that. And I wonder why no one's done this, and maybe somebody has. Of course, you see the usual 8-bit Nintendo pregame or whatever. I'd love to see somebody do Max Headroom. Remember Max Headroom?
In a way, kind of did it in a not really full blown, but I mean,
I know it would. It'd probably drive somebody nuts. You'd be in the middle of your pregame and all of a sudden,
Or we just replay the Max Headroom television intrusion on WGN from the 70s or the 80s again.
There you go.
On the Jumbotron instead, and hear the guy in charge there calling Chuck Swirsky a freaking liberal and going from there. I kind of feel like the Max Headroom was like inspired a little bit, and the word mark was kind of like how we had like the choreographed the lines going through the word mark and stuff. But no, that was probably, I think, my favorite night because, it's one thing I think for all of our organizations to do these theme nights, but when the fans get behind it, like they dressed to the T in the 80s gear, our ice crew did, our mascot did, my in-game our in-game host did. I kind of had my purple dress shirt on and some kind of a retro inspired tie. I had the shutter shades and things like that, and stuff like that across the board, and also that we had the fanny pack giveaway also tied into it, but also that the merchandise was just flying off the shelves. Whether it was the shirts, the hats, the jerseys. The jerseys sold really well, but when I saw the unis, I'm like, oh man, this might be the best thing I've seen for a uniform in a while. Was one of those jerseys, so. Definitely that, guys, is probably going to wrap things up for tonight, but great to hear a lot of the some great stories about theme nights and promos, and hey, we'll do it all over again next week, fellas.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a plan.
See you guys then. Enjoy your weekend.
You too, Callan.
Gentlemen. Have a